on that KT commanding win.
Thank you very much, Free, commanding to say the least here. And there's a lot to discuss. First and foremost is KT coming out of Champ Select with the composition that mirrored LGD's composition from yesterday, barring the Gragas for the Vi. Thoughts on that, getting beaten by the comp that you came into the day before with?
Well, different story, right? When they take the Varus, they open themselves up to a big Malphite pick there. And what I don't like about LGD, and what I haven't liked about kind of the LPL in general, is that the Hecarim is still picked. I think Hecarim is too item dependent, doesn't have a lot of upside. If you shut him down, then there's nothing that can be done. There's no comeback potential, and that made it very, very difficult here. They had to blind pick something. I don't think Hecarim's the answer.
Yeah, I feel like their coach, Firefox, was just failing to load plugins in Champions Select because, oh my God, you pick Varus into Braum, already not a good situation, but you open yourself up for 3 physical damage threats. Great, LGD's running more threats, but they are all the same type of damage, and it's against a Malphite that gets picked up late. I feel like this was a great draft from KT and a very, very bad draft from LGD.
Look, they didn't do themselves any favor with the draft. Like, I'm not going to defend it in any way, but if you give up Juggermore, you need to play fast push. Varus, very good fast push. Sivir, very good fast push. They needed to go with something to be able to finish this game by 27 minutes. If the game wasn't over before 30 minutes for LGD, the game was just never going to go in their favor. So I guess I get the emphasis on the draft, but the game was played on Summoner's Rift, and that's where they lost it.
Okay.
Well, then let's go to Summoner's Rift then, and let's talk about the way it was played out.
But the game was, they had a 2v2 against Kog'Maw Braum, which is an extraordinarily strong combination. So they're already putting themselves at a point. And Imp did get a nice CS lead early, which was surprising to me. But just having that, it's too hard for you to actually take the turrets in group in that situation. I don't think that was the answer. And it certainly showed too. And I mean, Acorn has been so off in these games. He's normally fantastic, but what horrendous teleport play.
Yeah, and even just the laning phase. They set up Someday once again. They gave him blue buff. They made sure he didn't take too much damage at the start, so he got to keep his TP. So that means that on the opposite side of the map, there is still pressure on Imp in the top lane, even though they've lane swapped it. There's always that chance that they're going to shut him down.
All right, so Zyrian, I want to work through the early game, though, and the way that KT played it out, because we actually saw them swap away from LGD, but then not too much later found themselves locked in that 2v2.
Yeah, I feel like what KT ended up doing is they played to shut down the strengths of LGD, and they did that perfectly, and I feel this is something that you should do against LGD is take double TP. It stops Imp from pushing forward at all. And this is a guy that I talked about before. He loves to go forward and assert his dominance in lane, and this is exactly what happens. Same position. It almost looks like we're watching the same replay twice, because he's always forward. He's always trying to exert pressure. And you were talking about the fast push. They punished it in the bot lane because they weren't grouping to fast push with a Varus. They were trying to do it during the laning phase, and they were immediately punished. Great collapses here. You see wards coming down just for these plays, too. Guaranteed 4-on-5s in some of them.
Well, even in that first clip, the bait, Arrow just stood still, baited out the hook, and then we saw the teleport come in for Acorn under the turret. They didn't know where Score was. Score was sitting there waiting for them to come in. They baited it absolutely beautifully. That was entirely set up by KT. That's why Arrow didn't move there, because there was already the preparation. Everybody just piles in. You know LGD, in 2 games now, they've tried to make an aggressive teleport in the bottom lane, and it hasn't worked versus Origin. It hasn't worked versus KT. And maybe this is, again, a mixed language issue, because it doesn't look like they're communicating where people are on the map.
So I don't know if you can chalk it up to miscommunication, because during the regular season, you have to remember this is a team that brought double teleport into the meta with Diana. So, like, let's not give them any excuses. They're just playing not good League of Legends right now, and they need to fix it. So, their side wave control generally is very good. So I like the double teleport against this team.
What I think
that LGD need to go back to playing their brand of League of Legends, because they created this meta.
Yes, I think the double TP just shuts them down so hard. And even on the double TP fact in a micro sense, what ended up happening before the TP to the bot was Godv had a skirmish against Nagne, and they were like, okay, we're both half HP, gentleman's agreement, we're both backing. But one of them has TP, so it's guaranteed 4v5 bot lane and the best possible scenario. So they're even prepping that from champion select with the double TP that they want to do this strategy. And KT is just very present here at this tournament, while LGD is kind of floundering.
Yeah, and KT has really surprised me because I didn't expect them to come in with this amount of poise, right? They're not taking risks. They're playing mind games in Champ Select. They're playing mind games on the Rift to set up these plays. And against TSM, against LGD, they've done the same thing. They wait very, very patiently, play conservatively, bait out a mistake, and then smash you. And once they get that early lead, they're great at snowballing it.
Yeah, absolutely impressive play from KT stepping up here. LGD now dropping 2. This does beg the question, what does this mean for the group, right? And LGD's future in this group, because it kind of blows it wide open all of a sudden. A lot of us came in here assuming LGD was going to be one of the favorites in the group, maybe along with KT. And that loss for LGD presents an exciting opportunity for the 2 Western teams in Group D. Now, earlier we asked you, who is your dark horse in the group stage? And it's T-Dog writes, definitely Origin after pulling out that victory against LGD, can see them making a run to get out of the group. Well, they're about to go up against TSM, so what do you guys think? Is this their opening here, or will TSM get their first win and make things even more interesting?
I'm going to have to start this off and go with Origen here. I love that pronunciation of it. Origen is the ones. They didn't press me yesterday, but it was against LGD, and we still don't know the gauge on LGD right now. They seem to be floundering this tournament, so that is kind of like a benchmark, not a very good one. So right now, I'm just going with Origen because I feel like TSM, they have not been present in this tournament as well.
Well, I have to go with Origin, with XPEK's performance, with him really stepping up in that first game. It looks like perhaps the mismatch in the mid lane may not be there if XPEK is going to play at this level. So, but everywhere else on the map, absolutely everywhere, there are problems. I mean, we look at Santorin, regular season, 9.05 KDA, but only 178.1 damage per minute. That put him 12th.
Dead last.
Remember, there were 10 junglers, 12th in damage per minute.
How is that possible?
He got beat by subs.
Right. And against KT, he didn't even have the KDA. He had a 0.67 KDA and 130.4 DPM. Amazing is going to wreck him. Like, Santorin needs to do something. Anything. Damage, whatever. And I think that's a big mismatch, so...
Yep.
I completely agree. The Cacao game is like how Santorin sets up to play League of Legends, unfortunately, at the moment. I think Origin across the board are actually a really strong team. I actually really enjoy watching these guys play League of Legends, but they have to draft to their strengths, which is pick some form of initiation on Amazing, because they don't normally give it to Soaz. He likes to play more of a damage threat. So if they have an initiation on their jungle and support, I think that this team can go very far.
Well, there you have it. We've got that match coming up in just a few minutes, so keep it right here. The 2015 World Championship continues after this.
LGD so far been the victim of one upset. It might be a second one here. They knock in TBQ. In comes Braum, and out goes LGD. That's going to be the kill. Cost him his life. Useful for KT. They get his ulti. Now he's going to fight Arrow. It's going to be close. Arrow! Has to ulti away. Someday still chilled in the front lines. And wow! Everyone's airborne like they love vitamin C. The chain of corruption comes across, but already 2 kills. Now 3 kills picked up. Acorn jumps in. Tries to pick up a little bit of something. Score will go down. KT 2-0 to start out their World Championship.